Marvel released the first trailer for Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings and gave fans their first look at the villain of the film, Wenwu, better known as the Mandarin. Now, this may be a bit confusing as the MCU has a slightly complicated history with the Mandarin. So let's take a few moments to talk about this character and the 3 portrayals we've seen of him so far. But first, some basic background on who he is. The Mandarin is one of Marvel's most famous villains, and he's also Iron Man's arch-enemy. He found the 10 Makluan rings, each of which contain the soul of a long-dead cosmic warrior, giving each of them a special ability. In no specific order, those powers are: Ice Blast. This power freezes the air in its path and can lower an object's temperature to almost absolute zero. Mento Intensifier. This power gives the Mandarin the ability to magnify his psychic energy, allowing him to mentally control a person. This is only effective at a short range. Electroblast. Emits electrical energy. The wearer gets to determine the quantity, and the upper limit of the output is unknown. Flame Blast. Emits infrared radiation and can ignite the air in front of it by incandescence. The upper limit of the output of this ring is also unknown. White Light. This power emits several different types of energy from the electromagnetic spectrum. Black Light. Absorbs all light. It is believed that this ring can access the Dark Force. Disintegration Beam. The disintegration beam power causes objects to fall apart by destroying the connection between atoms. It takes 20 minutes for the ring to recharge. Vortex Beam. Swirls air around at high speeds to create a vortex that can levitate objects or allow its wearer to essentially fly. Impact Beam. Projects a giant force of approximately 350 pounds of TNT. It can also cause sonic vibrations and magnetic waves. Matter Rearranger. This power can speed up or slow down an object's molecules but cannot actually result in a change in form. The Mandarin, equipped with these rings, founded the group The Ten Rings, named after the 10 Makluan rings. And that brings us to the MCU's 3 Mandarin portrayals. The trailer for Iron Man 3 gave fans their first glimpse of the Mandarin, played by Ben Kingsley. He sported green robes and the 10 rings on his fingers. But once the film was released, it was revealed that this was not the real Mandarin and merely an actor named Trevor Slattery who was being given protection by AIM, or Advanced Idea Mechanics, which was led by Aldrich Killian. During the film's climax, Aldrich Killian revealed himself to be the true Mandarin and was killed by Pepper Potts almost immediately after. But it doesn't end there. In early 2014, Marvel released a one-shot on the Thor: The Dark World Blu-ray titled All Hail the King. Side note, this is an excellent short film that is just around 14 minutes long and is the only one-shot that truly connects back into the MCU in our opinion. And while any MCU fan should watch all of the Marvel one-shots, this one is the most important. So during All Hail the King, Trevor Slattery has an interview in prison by Jackson Norris. At the end of this short film, Norris holds a gun to Slattery's head and a 10 rings tattoo is noticeable on his wrist. Then, after hearing the sound of gunshots close by, Norris tells Slattery that he's about to meet the real Mandarin. And so that brings us to Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. 7 years later, and Marvel is following up on this cliffhanger by finally telling us who the true Mandarin is. The upcoming film will have Tony Leung playing Wenwu, the true Mandarin and also Shang-Chi's father. So let's talk about what we see in this trailer. Wenwu undoubtedly dominated for screen time. We see him on his throne, we see him walking in a snazzy white suit, we see him in action, and we even see the 10 rings active. In the shot of him on the throne, his hair is long and he's wearing a robe which doesn't match his attire and hairstyle for the rest of the trailer. This could be a flashback indicating that the Mandarin has been alive a lot longer than it would seem and the rings are keeping him alive. The 10 rings look different in this trailer than they do in their comic book appearances. In the film, it appears that the 10 rings are very large and Wenwu wears them as bracelets, whereas in the comics, the rings are actually rings on his fingers. Many people have assumed that the rings belong to giant aliens, possibly the cosmic entities whose souls reside in them, or even the dragon Fin Fang Foom. And this is why they are too large for people to wear, which is why Wenwu is wearing them as bracelets. Might not be true, but an interesting thing to consider nonetheless. We were all delighted to catch a glimpse of the rings in action at one point in the trailer when Wenwu appears to punch through a table and a purple glow comes off his arm. We also see them activated later in the trailer and spread out on his arm. And as for the color of the rings, they seem to glow purple when activated, indicating they might act as one instead of each being their own separate entity. We'll have to watch the film to find that out. Well, that's all for now on this subject, but make sure to check out the rest of our Marvel content and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks!